Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Welcome everyone in today's conversation, and as we discussed in the previous conversation that how Ravana along with another demon is moving towards that forest where sages and Sri Rama was living, and he comes to ambush Sri Rama and pierce him and take a revenge on what Sri Rama did to him by killing all of his demons, all of his forces that were demonic forces. And now he moves towards the forest with a desire to impale Sri Rama with devastation. I mean, he wants to show Sri Rama that he is greater than him in power. And so with this bad desire, he moves towards the forest, thinking in mind that he would make Sri Rama understand that he has the greater power in him. And I was speaking that whenever we have such kind of bad desires in ourselves, in us, then only then we commit bad activities. And our entire life is driven by our desires, by some sort of aim that we work to fulfill. So we can never deprive ourselves, we can never our lives can never be devoid of ambitions, of aims, of desires. So when there is no way to go away from desires, it is better that we have good desires, because bad desires always lead and will always lead us towards devastations, towards destruction, like Ravana did to himself and to his entire cult, entire family, entire country. So the more uplifted a person is, I mean, if he is a leader, so he shouldn't commit any such thing that anyway suffers, anyway gives pain to his people. So the more uplifted we are through ranks or any other way, the more responsibility falls on us to protect the people that are under us, that live under us. So Ravana, along with himself, he devastated lives of so many people by only one desire. Just he had this desire to promote the evil deeds that were happening on earth, and they happen only because of him. So this is a bad desire, this is a bad ambition. And as we move into our lives, we see that we too are human beings, and we are also moved by desires. And when I always compare the teachings of the scripture through present life, through present day, our own lives. So what is the necessity of doing it? Because our lives too are connected, intricately connected with whatever is produced and represented in the scripture. So we too are driven by desires. So there is no way that we could let go of desires. And the worst thing of our lives is we feel ourselves, we all have the desires to complete ourselves through the things that we see outside us. Someone feels that he would be completed when he has a good house. Someone feels that he would be completed, his happiness will get a completion when he has a great car. Someone tries to get happiness by doing some other work. I mean, getting anything from this materialistic world. So in the end, after getting one thing, he again tries to get the second thing, third thing, fourth, fifth, and this journey goes on, and the person never feels himself happy. He never feels himself in a peaceful position. He never finds himself there. So this rush in life that I would get happiness, I will get peace when I achieve this thing, can never give you happiness, can never give you sustainable happiness. It can give you temporary happiness as well, but in the long term, you can never be happy by materialistic things. In the long term, the thing that gives you happiness for extensive period of time, for your entire life, the thing is your divinity. The thing is, how are you living your life? Like, this human body is the greatest gift given to us from the God, and how we use this human body to preserve Godism on this earth, to promote divinity on this earth, is the real work of this life. And when we do any real thing from any substance that it was intended to do, then only then we get happiness from that thing. Like, there are so many equipments around us, there are so many places to go, there are so many fields to work upon. Like, this is a room, and this is a room built for recording, and I use it for that purpose. And now if anyone comes up here and starts shouting here, then the divinity of this room, then the normal usage of this room will be devastated. I mean, this room can't serve the purpose that it was built for. The same way, the real purpose of our lives is to maintain what we are and enhance and promote our abilities to serve this nature, to forgive people, to spread divinity in this nature, to show clemency in nature, and uplift and raise everyone that we see around us. Along with us, we raise everyone. And this is the real part that a human being should play in his life. And when a person deflects from this path, when he moves away from this original path and just seeks for materialistic thing, and he feels that this thing would give me happiness, this is a bad desire. So we started from this word desire that Ravana had taken in him, and this was bad desire, that to pierce everyone that he sees around him, that he watches around him, who are not working what he wants them to work for. So this was the bad desire, and he got the result of that in the end. We would know that thing. So here we see that the second demon, whose name was Maricha, he goes through the orders of Ravana, and we also understood, he says that Navirodho Balavata Kshamo Ravana Tenate. So he has no power to not follow the orders of Ravana, because he is his king. He is the leader of that country, and all the countrymen are bound to to follow the orders of their ruler. So he doesn't want to fight Sri Rama, because he knows Sri Rama is not a normal person. He is the representative of God on earth. So it's not an intelligent choice to fight him. And moreover, those people, those demons, were on wrong side, were seeking the wrong way of life. And he knows that, but though he cannot revolt against Ravana. And so we also get this knowledge that we shouldn't fight, we shouldn't take enmity with anyone who we feel are superior in power with us. A person who has less power than anyone who is in front of him, so that person shouldn't take enmity with that person. This is the morality, and this is the thing, this is the teaching that the scripture is presenting us through this character, Maricha. So he abides by the rules, by the orders of Ravana, and he goes to forest, and he feels that I have to die. Like, if I don't follow the orders of my king, he would kill me. He would sentence me to death. And if I follow his orders, Rama will kill me. So why not I die by the hands of some good person? And I have this opportunity to die from the hands of that sacred person. And if I don't follow the orders of my king, he would kill me eventually. He would sentence me to death eventually. So here, dying, rather than dying by the hands of demons, by the hands of bad people, I should die by the hands of good person. So taking this feeling in his mind, he goes with Ravana to the forest and he does whatever their plotting was. They work the same way. And also he warns Ravana, and he says it in the verse, but Ravana defies his sayings, and he says that he is a normal person. Rama is a normal person. Oftentimes people seek for higher positions and they achieve the position, but in the course of time they forget that there are some normal people too who could harm where they are. I mean, people just go on culminating in their lives. These demonic powers like Ravana, they achieve many things in life and their ego soars up, but only that time they feel like Ravana had gained all those boons, that he would never be killed by any person, he would never be killed by any god. He had got this boon that he would, no god, no any eternal creature, no any eternal being could kill him. So he had the full confidence in him that if gods cannot kill me, if even death cannot kill me, what is the place for a normal human being? Okay, so he was completely assured of the fact that no person on this earth could kill him. But that happened. Sri Rama came, God came in the form of Sri Rama, as the literature says, and he killed Ravana. So we should never neglect any part of our lives. This is the teaching that we get from here. We culminate in different parts of our life, but we should never neglect any single part of our lives. So any single part, breaking any single rule of our lives, we could go to various heights in our lives, but still we should always follow the tiny and tiniest rules and regulations of life. So only those things make our life a better life. When we move, when we follow all the tenets of our lives, only then we'd be able to go to great heights and sustain those heights in our lives. So whatever way you are, whatever place you are in, always follow the basic rules, the basic regulations of life. So the scripture is also teaching us all those things. Along with this history, it is also teaching us what is the way to live the life. These are characters who are teaching us by their lives, by their way of living, that how a life should be. So this is the initial work of these great scriptures. And Ravana defies the feeling that Maricha presents in front of him. And it's also because when we every day do our actions, okay? And in those actions, there are some bad actions and there are some good actions too. And the bad actions are called sins. So this little tiny sins of everyday's life amass to make a great sin. Like if you pour just one drop of water in a vessel, in a period of time, the vessel will be filled. Doesn't matter how much time it takes, but one day, anyway, at least one day it'll fill. And then after it fills to the brim, it'll start overflowing. The same way, tiny little sins of everyday's life culminate, amass together to form a large sin. And when that large sin, when the basket of large sin shatters, breaks apart, when that vessel of sin starts overflowing from the brim, then our life is devastated. Then our life becomes painful. And the same thing happened here. Ravana's sin have grown so far, have grown so much that he cannot understand the true teachings of people, true informations of people, true feelings of people. So whenever anyone says him that you are on the wrong path, he either kills that person, or if he is elder to him, he defies the saying the feelings of that person. So there are several examples. His wife too said that you are on the wrong path. His different colleagues, his different relatives said him that you are on the wrong path. You should go to Sri Rama and just go to him and take the ownership that you were wrong, and he would forgive you, because he is a real human being. He is a real person. He forgives whoever comes to him, whoever surrenders himself to him. So since you are on a bad path, so you should go to him and surrender yourself to him, and save your family, save your people, save your country from this great destruction that would happen if we don't follow the path of goodness, if we don't go through the path of righteousness. But he never took the advice of anyone, and it's only because his sin, his vessel of sin was filled enough to not to let him understand what is right and what is wrong, what is evil and what is good. And so we see in the end that he was killed. Not only he was killed along with his sons, with his entire family, all his relatives, all people, entire country was destructed. So this is the fruition of what happens when badness appears in a person. So we should always take control on our badnesses right when it appears, right when it sparks in us. And it has been said in the scripture that Sri Rama kills all the demons the moment they appear in front of him. And it's in our life too. The moment we see the bad actions have appeared in us, some sort of bad thought has appeared in us, some sort of bad feeling has taken birth in us, right at that moment we should war against it and kill it, right when it is in its infancy. When it has grown, you won't have the power to defeat it. So defeat and war against that criminal in you right when it sparks in you. This is the way. And always raise your goodnesses. This is the only way that the scripture is teaching us. So we don't need to move here and there to find inspirations. This is the greatest inspiration to live a happy life. Leading a happy life is not a very difficult thing. Only you need to follow some initial teachings that are essential to lead your life. And one among those teachings are always raise your goodnesses and always war and defeat the badnesses that you see rise in you. Whenever they rise in you, you war against them and defeat them right when they take birth in you, right when they sprout in you. So this is the knowledge that Sri Rama is teaching us through his life. And in the next verse, we see that Jahara bharyam ramasya gridhram hatva jatayusham. And now, as Maricha has taken the shape of a deer, and Sri Rama is moving along its trail to catch him, because this Maricha had came in the form of a golden deer. Like his skin was so much gleaming, it looked like this deer is a golden deer. So Sita says Sri Rama that you go and catch this deer. We would raise this deer in our ashrama, in this place, in our cottage. So he goes behind him, and this Maricha, this is a demon, not a deer. So at some place he vanishes. So now Sri Rama understands that this deer is not a deer, is not a real deer, it's a demon. And so he takes his bow, he grabs his arrow and kills the deer right then and there. And here, in the next part of the story, Ravana appears in the cottage in the form of a monk, and he just he brings his vehicle and sits Sita in his vehicle and just goes away to his kingdom. And while he was going from the forest, and Sita was crying like this some sort of misdemeanor, some sort of bad thing has happened. So there was a creature in the forest who was Jatayu, and this creature starts fighting Ravana, that you are doing an evil work. I mean, you are a demon and you came here in the form of a monk, and now you are carrying this helpless lady away from here. I will fight you. So here Ravana kills that creature, Jatayu, and he goes away from there and takes away Sita. So here we see the Jatayu. People say that this Jatayu was a bird, but we cannot compare that a bird ever fights with a demon. So Jatayu, this was I think this was a creature that was present during those times, and it had some sort of ability to fly in the skies, and like different types of powers we get through yogic practices, like Hanumana had the power to fly. Okay, so yogic practices give you such powers, which is described in Yoga Darshana. When you extensively, exhaustively practice those postures, those tenets of yoga, you get those abilities. So he might have gotten those abilities that he could raise himself in the air. So he starts fighting Ravana, and actually Ravana kills him, and he falls to the ground. He didn't have that much power to fight the king of demons, but he did. So here he says through his life, but that whatever circumstances there are in front of you, whatever conditions are there in front of you, you should never back from them. You should never step back from whatever conditions that appear in your life. I mean, if you are not that much powerful, you should never tolerate badness that appears in your life, that appears in front of you in the society, in the community, in the country, in the world. So though he had less power than Ravana, he never tolerated that Ravana takes away a helpless lady away without her acceptance. And so he fought Ravana, and though he was killed, but he presented an example. He would always be alive on earth. So he protected Dharma, he protected righteousness, he fought for the protection of righteousness. So as long righteousness is present on earth, the name of Jatayu will always be present on the lips of people. So it doesn't matter how much long life, how much longevity we have. The thing that matters is how we lived our lives. Some people live too little life, but they do such great jobs in their lives that their lives are always remembered by millions and millions of people. But the same way, some people's lives are so much extensive, they live 100 years of life, but no one knows about them. You see, so many people have come and gone from this planet, but we don't know about them. And some people who had very little amount of life, who had little time period that they were present on this earth, but they did so much great work that we remember them we remember them and we praise them. We fold our hands in front of them, that they were such great lives that appeared on this earth. So in today's conversation, we discuss about desire, and we shouldn't hold any bad desires in us, because if we do so, our actions will turn towards bad actions, and in the end, as we learn that whatever case, whatever occasion, whatever circumstances that appear in front of us, we should fight against those circumstances if they are bad circumstances. And we should never feel that we are inferior, anyone is superior. Okay? So this is the way that we could live our lives well and help other people live their lives well. So this is the teaching that the scripture is presenting in front of us, and we always read it and live our lives every day, day by day, gradually. Thank you.